Joe, you want me to do the intro?
Right there.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Intro that shit up, Elliot. Wait, hold up. Let me introduce you, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, with the intro to the Valleycast, may I present to you, Elliot Morgan.
Wow, thank you so much, Joe. What an honor to be here doing this intro. Welcome, everybody, to the Valleycast, a very special episode in which we have temporarily transfigured Steve Zaragoza into the new and improved Andy Mogren. Andy Mogren, everybody.
Yay!
Andy Mogren is an incredibly talented person, director, writer, hilarious human being, and what happened? My mic fell. But anyway, Andy, you guys might recognize as the person who's created our logo, or at least the 3D version of it. He 3Dified it, and it's the thing that's in front of all of our stuff. And Andy, how are you doing? How's life treating
great.
you?
I'm up here in up north Minnesota, 3 hours outside of Minneapolis.
Damn.
Beautiful.
It's a far cry from living in Studio City, but it's great. I love it.
Do you miss Studio City?
I mean, those days, give me a break. We had this awesome pool house, or like just a house with a pool, and we just had barbecues every weekend. It was amazing.
Yeah.
You had great early, like, I just moved to LA, like, actually living that lifestyle life is what you had for a while.
I had like a full-on floaty thing called a relaxation station from Costco that was in our it would fill up the entire swimming pool, and we would always like jump on it and get holes in it and return it to Costco and just get a new one for free. Oh, good times. And it was like,
you got to know how to.
It was like early YouTube. Like everybody would just come over for barbecues, you know.
Yeah, it was. Let's jump into the history here in a second. I don't want to sell you short on your intro. Not only have you done
you sold me short.
I'm selling Elliot short on his intro.
You did a great job. I think you did
for selling Elliot
it just
short.
Could have been a little bit better, like a little bit. I don't know. More
Andy's done the 3D.
What is happening here? This is insane.
Oh wait, are you good? Are you good?
I'm actually coming at you from 3 miles away. Yeah. I hate this.
I know.
Zoom
it's
shit
like,
so much.
If
anyway.
comedy timing is like a 1, 2, 3, 4 count, we're talking music now. Comedy timing on Zoom is like a 4, 5 count, which is a nightmare to play if you've never played it before. It's not
what
fun.
A metaphor.
Oh, 5-4. Sorry, 5-4 count. 5-4 count. It's like the Mission Impossible theme song. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's really it's a nightmare. Anyways,
it's the comedic equivalent of turning off the song when you get out of the car before finishing the song.
Yes.
It's that funny. Yeah,
I'll be here all day.
It's that funny.
So
it's that hilarious.
Andy's done the 3D version of our logos. He's done the intro for pretty much all of our shows, I think.
Yonder, let's see, the new Valleycast, the old Valleycast.
Andy is responsible for Sperm Mike.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's my idea.
And then most importantly is that he's the editor on what used to be Tales from the Internet and now is Love on the Internet. Andy is doing all the visuals for that. So he's kind of like a unofficial, official member of the Valleyfolk that's been kind of riding with us the whole time. So we want to get him on and talk about his projects and shit.
Yeah, Andy, you're like very similar to our good, much-loved editor Kevin in that you inject everything you do with an amount of comedy that either you do it consciously or unconsciously. It seems like it's targeted at making us laugh, and it makes everything so much better.
Definitely. I think that like bringing comedy and most importantly timing and stuff to these different projects. Like, I mean, you got to be a good editor and you got to kill your babies in a lot of different ways. Where if it takes like 5 minutes to tell 2 jokes or something like that, like you're doing a pretty shitty job, actually.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
It sounds like he's. Are you critiquing us right now? What's going on here, Andy?
I think there's way more than 2 jokes so far, guys.
You son
I think
of a
we're
bitch!
going great. That's awesman.
Have you seen my stand-up, Andy? I mean, that's generous.
I went to Flappers in North Hollywood.
Oh man, those are the days. How's life treating you, Andy, up there? How are things
awesome.
going?
I mean, it's I like with everything going on right now, no better place to be secluded than like up north at your cabin, you know?
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
So because I see you guys all the time on like Instagram, and it's like I just feel I feel fortunate to be where we are, just like with a lake, with I have newborn twins. They just turned 1 and a 4-year-old. And so it's great. It's awesome. It's much better than being in an apartment in LA. No offense.
I think there's no offense taken. Just maybe a little offense. Well, I'm super jealous. Like you're just outside. You're just in nature, and you're getting to go on the boat and have fun. And I'm happy for you more than I'm jealous.
Yeah, and it's like if a project comes up, like for you guys or whatever, like I'll just bust it out from up here. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I dig it so much.
Do you feel an overall sense of gloom and doom
when you are looking outside?
Around.
Like if you're not paying too much attention, like I still read Reddit every day, and it's like it's not even happening because when I'm looking outside, there's nothing going on. You know,
you're escaping it. Yeah.
But at the same time, I've been, it's all good. We're good.
It's an interesting point that you make there, though, because with that question that Elliot just thrown out, it's like LA is right now. It's a constant reminder of everything that's going on. It's if you see people, you either see people that are super adhering to the restrictions and masks and stuff like that, but then you also see the people that aren't, and it's a reminder that you're still in it because you get angry towards that. Like Elliot and myself and most of all the Valleyfolk, we've been quarantining crazy and have been inside the whole time. So outside is like a foreign thing to us. But then you're an example of how the rest of the nation is. We have this metropolitan feel of how COVID is going and the summer and all the crazy climate stuff. But you're kind of out in rural America where it's just not as big of a deal, or at least it's not in your face as much, right?
Well, like straight up, I am 3 hours up north outside of Minneapolis. So Minneapolis has been the epicenter of the George Floyd protest and everything. And like we've been up here for all of that, but we have a lot of friends that are down there. We've gone down there plenty, and you see firsthand like just how fortunate we are to be outside of all that kind of stuff, because it's it's wild. I have a friend that's a writer for a local paper out here, and he's like investigating the Minneapolis police, and he's finding out some pretty shady things. And
they're notorious for their shady stuff up in the Minneapolis police department.
Tell us, Andy. Break the story now. Name names.
I know you've been proofreading.
For instance, one of the things that happened was there was something called the South Metro Gang Strike Force, and they used to go into people's houses without a warrant and would just do whatever they want. They would steal stuff off their walls. They stole this one guy's car, and he didn't...
Little Grinches. He
didn't get it back until it had 20,000 extra miles on it. And in his car were his house keys. And so his landlord wouldn't give him another set of house keys because it was investigated by the police or whatever. So he couldn't get into his house for 2 years.
Jesus. And there is nothing Grinchier than taking somebody's car and then giving it back with a lot of mileage on it.
Yep, with your heart a little bigger.
Yeah. Well, and it's a real...
Dude, I talked to my cousin yesterday, who I hadn't talked to in probably a year and a half or something, and he lives in Utah. He lives in Cedar City, Utah, which I guess is like southern Utah. And the culture he was describing was intense, but on the opposite side, where it's like you're probably out of the mayhem a little bit. But the way he was describing it was like they're very conservative in Utah, and they're, as a result, kind of like freaking out about a lot of the Antifa stuff. And he was telling me the story about like this smoke shop sold a bumper sticker, and I don't even want to say the phrase on the bumper sticker, but it was real racist. Ugh. Let's just put it in that category. We'll file it under real racist. Yeah. And somebody posted it on Facebook, and all these people got upset that they thought Antifa was going to come destroy this smoke shop. So like 30 to where they sell like cigarettes, not like LA smoke shop. They went out and like staked out the place, like 50 dudes waiting for Antifa to show up because of this bumper sticker that they were selling that was objectively racist, like crazy
filed
racist.
Under really racist.
You'll find it in the file.
In case you're lost in the filing system, really racist is right after rad racist, and they're different. They're very, very different.
So wait, Elliot, what did it say?
I'll tell you, it said if I'd have known all this was going to happen, I would have picked my own cotton.
No
That's pretty racist, Elliot.
way.
If you think
Yeah.
about it, yeah. If you could
Jesus
look at it, it might even need to go a little further back in the file to very racist. Doesn't that make you feel terrible? Isn't that a horrible thing? Like, I feel like a worse person for
Elliot,
saying
I
that,
think you just
but these
canceled
guys
our
were so
filing
worried.
system. It's canceled.
I know it was about time though. Our filing system has a lot of stuff in it that it
I
should
have
go.
another case for this filing system. Do you remember the woman at the bar
Yes,
from
I do.
Florida? who
Yes.
well, take it away. You know exactly
Man.
what happened.
That was
I've repeated the racist stuff. I'm not going to repeat anymore. You remember what it is. Your turn. This is racism. Hot
I mean,
potato.
she's
Yeah.
sitting there, and she's from Florida, and she's in Los Angeles, and what is she doing here? She hates everything about this place, but she doesn't hate it quite as much.
Well, you got to dial back the story just a little bit. She was flirting with 3 young men at the bar
Well, who
for
wasn't?
like 30 minutes, us being the young men. And she was very kind, and she was very nice, and very familiar is the word to use. And she made friends right away. And then as soon as she knew she was in casual acquaintance, the floodgates opened.
I mean, I don't even know. Where should we start? With the alligators?
It was. I think we should start with the alligators. What was the alligator
She was
thing?
like, down in Florida, there's these sons of bitches that were cutting the heads off of alligators. I'd like to cut their heads off.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And it was so bad. Joe described it perfectly where he was like, the look in her eyes was like evil. And I was like, yeah, that is exactly like she turned into she went from jovial, flirty older lady to like, we need to kill everyone that's different than us.
And and Elliot, well, you were like, oh yeah, me too. What else? Keep going. She was like, oh.
I didn't say that Me Too part. I did.
There was no Me Too.
I was. There was no Me Too, but there was definitely the other stuff.
You weren't like,
I was definitely,
I'm from Florida too.
Give
hey.
it. Yeah, very different.
And to be clear, she wasn't racist against alligators.
Yes,
it just
she
started
was.
with
No,
it was just with alligator killers she hated, but then it swiftly went off to anybody that didn't look like her.
Yeah.
It was very bad.
And then
It's so great to see it in like that in real life, and then like my cousin explaining it, I was like, oh, this is like totally different world out there.
Sup, Ricky?
Diverse country.
You know Sup, Ricky, right? Chris Thompson.
Yeah.
He kind of like moved all his operation to TikTok, and he'll come up on my TikTok every once in a while. And he posted one. He was driving through Salt Lake area. Maybe it was southern Utah as well. He's going through Utah on a road trip. And he told a story of he walked into a convenience store with a mask on, and the guy stopped him. He's like, "Hey, you! This is a no mask store." He's like, "What?" He's like, "No, you don't need to wear a mask here." He's like, I'm good. I'm good. And it's like, it's the opposite outside of these areas where it's super hit hard, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all that's. I mean, I don't know that I wouldn't be able to laugh. I mean, I wouldn't be able to take my mask off because I would be. It's like the lady where I want to keep. I got that little like dark thing in me that's like I want to
poke the bear.
I want to play.
You want to poke the racist bear.
Poke the bear.
Nope.
What else you got
All right,
in there, Rattler?
kids, we're going to start the day off with a little bit of duck, duck, goose, and then we're going to play poke the racist bear. All right.
racist bear. And that's our road trip. Anyway.
Fun times.
Crazy
Fun
guys.
Things that come up.
Well, this has been our Valleycast. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Nice to meet
This
you.
is such a
Yeah.
fun joke.
Well,
Yeah.
aside from social climate and all that crap, Andy, I wanted to bring you onto the podcast so you could talk about this frickin' project that you're finally finishing up.
This is very exciting. I've been working on this thing for
Years
like
long.
5 years. I was working on it.
5 years.
I think I really started it around my wedding. Because it was my dad saw the Corridor Digital video, Superman with a GoPro.
Shout out to Corridor Digital.
And he was like, oh, that's just like a pterodactyl like flying around like in the old movies in the 50s. We should do that. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty cool video for sure. And then I come home for like my bachelor party, and he has a thing on his whiteboard, like pay taxes, do all this stuff, but above everything, write pterodactyl. and then Luke Baratz, he's out there, and he's like, what's pterodactyl?
Shout out to Luke Baratz.
You know, you could just see it like this. Pterodactyl flying over, like this video, right? And it's like, okay. And then Luke went home, and he wrote a draft of it. And my dad got so excited that he got his brother to build a life-size pterodactyl head. And it was just like, well, I guess we're off to the races. And this is during the 2016 election-ish type of stuff. And so it started to just like infiltrate what was going on with this movie about a pterodactyl. And now it's finally done, and it's like 30 minutes long, and you guys are both in it, and so is Steve, and so is Corridor Digital, and Smosh, and a bunch of different people. It's going to be great. And it turned out awesome.
5 years. That's the exact opposite. Like the exact opposite of what we do.
I've never worked on anything for 5 years.
5 freaking years. It's crazy.
I mean,
never.
Over the course of this, I did have 3 kids, and I also got married, and I also bought a house and moved to Minnesota. Like, there's a lot of things that happened. It was just like every night I would go to bed, and I would think, hey, well, like, what is one thing I can do to improve on this thing? At one point in time, it was like an hour long, and now I got it down to 30, because every single night I would go to bed and thinking, like, I could do something to improve this part of it. And it's all green screen, and I shoot everybody individually, and I splice all of the performances together and stuff. So, like, in my very first movie, Bear Force 1, Joe, you make out with a girl at the end of it on top of Mount Rushmore that you never have even met because you're making out with somebody that I already filmed like a month and a half earlier.
Yeah.
And Joe, being a devout Christian, would have it no other way.
Exactly.
And that's
Well, you're
very
married,
respectable.
and I would never have you cheat on Heather.
Absolutely
Just
not.
virtually.
Not even for free.
We've said that to him so many times.
Yeah.
In my vows, I said I would never cheat on you except for virtually. So we're going to be fine. Everything's
I
fine.
remember that
It counts.
because I was your ordained priest at your wedding.
Yes, you are.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
you were. And you dressed up like a giant priest.
Like a
It was
giant
probably the
pope.
most offensive, funny thing I've ever
I
seen.
dressed up as the Pope, yes.
Yes, I'm not Catholic, but I was like, something, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it.
I
Something
had
seems
this
bad.
big top, like this hat like this, and I get out of the elevator at the Burbank at the hotel, and
Holiday Inn,
this
yeah.
black guy sees me and he goes, Grand Wizard? And I go, no. I was like, I'm just doing it.
I'm just doing a wedding, but it's not a white wedding. I mean, it is a white wedding, but it's not that type of white wedding. Ha!
That was awesome.
I think I would fall out of the elevator and plummet to my death if I was there when I heard that man say that. That would have been a turning point.
Grand
I like that he cocked his head kind of like cool and curiously. Grand Wizard? He was way too. It's funny. So what? I don't know if people have seen some of Andy's stuff before, and if you haven't, you should. But when he's saying it's like, it's a style that I haven't seen anybody else do. I've always been a big fan of it. He, like you said, he takes all his actors and he makes everything. He makes the backgrounds. He makes all the effects. And back in the day when you started with Bear Force 1, which you should also talk about, that was all in like Final Cut, and you've since learned some better techniques, but still things that take forever and are a lot of man hours.
Well, I mean, so for Bear Force 1, it was, the president declares war on bears because bears are dangerous, and then bearists hijack Air Force 1, a very difficult movie to make. Unless you just go on Google and search, like, bears, and then you take the pictures.
And then it gets pretty easy.
And then
Then you can imagine.
But then you bring it into Photoshop and you like cut off the head of a bear and then you put it on the head of the body of a fat person and then you have them walking around like this. But yeah, like I had to keyframe each of those different elements, like from the elbow to the paw, like that's one little thing like that. And doing it in Final Cut Pro was not the right program to do that in.
If you're an editor with any of If you're an editor with any type of like even the smallest bit of experience and did one keyframe in your life with like a piece of text, and you watch this Bear Force 1, you'll understand the nightmare that Andy subjected himself to.
Yeah, I don't want to give anything away, but at the very end, when all of the bears are defeated and you jump out of the airplane on the 4th of July above Mount Rushmore, there's one shot in there where it's like a bunch of bears fly out and a bunch of like newspapers fly out and you fly out and all this, like koala bears are flying everywhere. I think there's like 180 different layers going on at the same time, and I was moving each of them, including the sky in the background and all this kind of stuff. And it's just
it's like when they did the Snow White when they first made Snow White, right? Didn't they have they had different panels and different layers that they would put in front of each other to film to create a sense of
Walt
depth?
Disney used to have this technique where there was a camera and it was like pointed down like this, right? And then and
then you go down into the thing, right? Or it'll go
there'd
up.
be different panels like this that they would put in.
Yeah.
And then they would take one frame or two frames, and then they would move the panels up a little bit, and it would give the illusion that they're moving through. And I used a lot of those same techniques when I had the sex scene with the bear in Las Vegas.
Walt would be proud.
Yeah.
I think. Your style is as Joe was saying, it's such a unique thing that it's like, I don't know, you're like the equivalent of like an old-timey thinker that's like tinkering away in your lab, and you have this crazy invention that you're weirdly perfecting that like if it doesn't take off, people will eventually be like, how is this, like you're like this. It kind of reminds me of when Joe, you said one time you went through old source-fed things and stuff like that, and even old Valleyfolk videos we've gone through and been like, if aliens ever found this, they would be weirdly impressed by what it is, and it would probably hold up in some way. But I feel like that's how your stuff is. I have a question, if I can pivot for a moment. It's a pterodactyl that flies around and terrorizes people. TERRORDACTYL, correct?
But,
going back to the 5-year thing, like, how do you stay, and I'm asking more for advice here, how do you get so motivated? Like, how does the same idea continuously renew in your mind so you don't get sick of yourself and sick of what you're doing?
There was a lot of evolution that came during the process of Pterodactyl, because, even the movie was going to be called Pterodactyl, and then another movie came out called Pterodactyl in the course of it. So now it's called Pterodactyl Extinction USA. And I think
nice.
That's a funnier title. So that's how you'll win.
It is a
but at the beginning, it was just going to be, like, my dad wanted it to be like a stoner comedy about a pterodactyl that we were going to shoot for real. But I shoot everything on green screen because I think it's important to stay on brand. And at first, it was just going to be a pterodactyl, hatches and merges the same day as the world's largest hot air balloon festival, and chaos ensues. And then I would have a hang glider, and I'd go and I'd fly close to the pterodactyl and beat it some way or something. But then when all of this political bullshit started to happen with Trump and everything, I kind of wanted to make a statement with this thing if I was going to be spending so much time on it. So I had to a moment where it's I'm going to start using real news clips and incorporate it into this outrageous idea and make it seem as if it's this is a real event that actually happened. So the movie's cold open, it's you meet every single character as if this is based on a real story. You see real footage of the real people, and then it's over the course of this movie, the most outrageous stuff happens. Balloon Day is a disaster. Everybody dies.
Spoilers.
Sorry. But that was supposed to be the end of the movie. But now it's just the halfway point, because then I incorporate, what is... YouTube reacting was not a thing when I started this movie 5 years ago. And now it's like people are just reacting to everything on YouTube, and like that's their channel. And that's like so like easy and pathetic, and so I found well, it's like, okay, I found this one clip of this girl saying try not to cry challenge to 9/11, and it's like no. Give me, and you know that she's monetizing and like making money on this stuff, and her intro to the video is like, so I know all y'all are probably wondering why I'm wearing this sweatshirt, and it's because I'm cold, and then it goes like to this like pre-made intro, and then it's like, today we're gonna do the try not to cry challenge to this video, I miss you daddy 9/11 edition, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to pretend that you are reacting to this tragedy and make it into, like, the whole movie is how do we as a society react to tragedy in the Facebook generation, you know, where, like, people all make it about themselves, where at the beginning you see it on the news, and then you react to it on social media. The news continues to kind of milk it, get some like human interest stories about it, and then eventually people like Fox News turns it political and makes it a race thing, and then all of a sudden people are reacting and they're doing a stupid thing like a try not to cry challenge. and that is the movie that I made.
It's super fun. The opening with Luke's in it as well, the writer, Baratz. And he's so freaking good in the opening. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it turned out
what
way
character
better
does he play?
Than I hoped. What?
Oh, I remember what character he plays now. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
He plays
I'm getting confused with sorority.
What?
I said I made a...
Do you want us to react to it?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Great. Let's do it.
Can you do that? How do we do this? I sent you
know
some
what?
links.
I wouldn't test it.
Yeah, what we would do is let's just say, Andy, why don't you just introduce it right now, and then we'll play it, we'll edit it into the thing, and we'll act as if we watched it together right now, and then we'll watch it together later.
Well, perfect, Shay.
We can do it also with ads. We can add ads right now since it's about that time.
Okay. So we're going to go do some ads, and then right after that, you can hear or watch, if you're watching this on youtube.com/thevalleyfolk, you can see the world premiere trailer.
It is the world premiere. Nobody else has seen it.
Yeah!
Well, great.
Hell yeah. Okay, to the ads. Hey, everybody, welcome to the ad portion. First off, I want to talk about Honey and thank Honey for sponsoring the podcast. Shopping online has become ubiquitous, is a good word, I think. We're doing it all the time because we're stuck inside and we don't want to go anywhere. So you might as well save some money while you do it, and that's why you got Honey. Honey saves you money. We've all seen that promo code field taunt us at the end of checkout. Honey makes it so it's not taunting you, but it gets inundated with code after code after code that Honey automatically checks for you to save you money. It's great. It's a free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. It supports over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion brands and even food delivery. It's quite nice. It's you go in, you're like, I'm spending how much? And then you see the little Honey guy pop up, and then he starts going through things, and then he saves you money, and then you fall in love with the little Honey avatar, and then you're like, I can't do that, so I'll just fall in love with the service. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site, and if it finds a working coupon, you'll watch the price drop. It's nice. We've saved a bunch of stuff, a bunch of money on stuff at the office, and we've also saved a bunch of money on stuff at home since we've been quarantining. It's been quite nice. That was my personal endorsement right there. Specific. Can I give you a specific one? Yes, we saved $3.50 on a shirt that Hayden really wanted for her school shopping. So that was cool. Honey has founded over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. Those are big numbers that we can barely comprehend. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds, and by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast, so we'd really appreciate it if you could do so. So, get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Valleycast. That's joinhoney.com/Valleycast. Guys, sending mail from the Valleycast office got incredibly easy and much more convenient once we started using Stamps.com, and I would like to talk about Stamps.com. As we slowly adjust to a new normal, we still need to be smart about how we do business. Luckily, there's Stamps.com to make things easier. Thousands of small businesses, like us, have discovered the benefits of Stamps.com in recent months. They've been able to keep their businesses running and avoid the crowds at the post office, all from their own computers. With Stamps.com, you can print postage on demand when you want and avoid going to the post office. You'll save money with discounted rates that you can't get from the post office. And Stamps.com also offers UPS services with discounts of up to 62% and no residential surcharges. That's dope. Stamps.com brings all the mailing and shipping services you need right to your computer in the comfort of your home or office. That's fancy. That's bougie. Whether you're a small business sending invoices, an online seller shipping out products, or just working from home and need to mail some stuff, Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. And once your mail is ready, you just leave it for your mail carrier, schedule a pickup, or drop it in a mailbox. It's that simple. It's up to you. You can personalize your service for yourself. Woo! And like I said, with Stamps.com, you get great discounts too. 5 cents off of every stamp, that adds up, and up to 62% off USPS and UPS shipping rates. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, saving you time and money. So right now, you can get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Valleycast. That's Stamps.com, enter Valleycast, and get your savings and support this podcast. Thank you so much. And now, my friends, I want to talk to you about Full Sail University. If you're looking to up your educational game. Located just outside of Orlando, Florida, Full Sail University offers associate's, bachelor's, and master's degrees designed for the world of entertainment, media, arts, and technology. Offered both online and on campus, these programs are accelerated so you can earn your degree in half the time. Ooh! Degrees are immersive and hands-on, so you can learn your craft using the same tools and technologies found in the industry. Full Sail grads are able to come back and audit classes throughout their careers and receive lifetime career development support throughout their professional journey, which is an important thing because you should always be learning, my friends. Full Sail grads have gone on to do things from mixing hit records to working on major Hollywood films to winning Oscars, Grammys, and even more. A lot of them are in the YouTube industry. Enrolled students receive a laptop along with industry software at a deep institutional discount. To learn more about Full Sail's programs as well as potential scholarship opportunities, visit fullsail.edu/Valleycast. That is fullsail.edu/Valleycast. Back to Andy Mogren and back to the world premiere trailer of Pterodactyl Extinction USA.
It is the peak season for hot air balloon rides.
Gorgeous start up there.
The deadliest hot air balloon accident in U.S. history.
Claims dinosaurs have been sighted.
It's going to be a beautiful morning out here.
Mariah Carey on our stage.
It's impossible to clone a dinosaur. Impossible.
It is officially Balloon Day!
So this is Balloon Day.
Yeah, I've been coming here since I was a kid. Balloon Day, it's the best.
Well, the graduate has returned from this big balloon university.
This is gonna be the best balloon day ever. What's that?
I have never seen this morning since I started my summer internship a couple months ago.
This is the greatest day of my whole life!
Randy, maybe you could go look for us.
It looks like a nest, like a prehistoric nest or something.
What's going on back there, Brad?
Is that a pterodactyl?
I've dreamt of doing this ever since I saw Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World.
You think we can't take care of a simple dinosaur?
And we're back. And they've watched the trailer. And now we're on this side and we go, oh, man, that's going to be a ride.
Wow. Beautiful.
It's all in 4K, so I think that's one reason why it took me 5 years. Also, it's in like ultra wide format. So if you have like an ultra wide monitor, it will fit perfectly on there. It's all 3D, not like stereoscopic where you can see with glasses, but it's all 3D animation. And like there's one shot in the movie that took like 17 hours to export.
Jesus
Christ. 3 days to make, 17 hours. I think it's like 15 seconds, but it kicks ass. So,
follow up. What's your plan? What do you want to do with it? Because I know, like, again, the opposite of what we are. We've always been making stuff for the YouTubes and immediate gratification, but in some of your older stuff, you've kind of went a more traditional route. What do you want to do with this?
Well, my goal is for this to turn into a series. I don't want to spend 5 years doing another one of these things. I would love to do it if it was once a month. And it was like 12 of them in 1 year. And, you know, it sucks that we can't do anything live right now. But it would be so much fun where every month you do a new movie and take it out to a new city and get to watch it live with, you know, a whole new crowd of people and stuff. Because
like in a theater, like a theatrical release.
Yeah, because I don't like how on YouTube you upload something and like the only reaction you get is like the comments that you read on it. It's not you don't get that like gut feeling of is this good or not, because a lot of stuff is just repetition and putting up a lot of different stuff, and it's a format that really works well. I mean, you get a good audience participation, then they get to know you that way. But like this is the type of thing that's taken so long. I'd love for it to be an every month type of thing, where at the end of the month you can always expect to get one of these movies. That would be fun. But most immediate.
Yeah, that's
sorry. Go ahead.
Well, this guy's a good point, because also with YouTube, it's such passive viewing, and very critical. It's easy to be very critical when you're sitting by yourself watching something on a phone. But like, it's a comedy that you inject so many jokes into every second of every shot that it's like doing it a disservice to just let passive viewers, like, you know, the jokes aren't being seen, I would imagine. But if you're in a group of people and everyone's having a great time, they're going to actually experience it the way I imagine.
No doubt about it. And that's an element to YouTube that is just absent. And like the very first film festival that Bear Force One got into, it headlined it. It was the last movie to play, the LA Comedy Shorts, and then it won the grand prize. And it was just like, it was this moment that changed my whole life, because it was like I made that thing in a garage, and it was about bears that hijack Air Force One. It's like the silliest thing, but seeing it with a live audience, it was just awesome. But
you're like the Dan Harmon of Christopher Nolan.
Well, you know Channel 101, like, you know the whole backstory of that?
Yeah.
How like
not the backstory.
Oh, I love this backstory. It's Dan Harmon, and I'm not sure who else was there. Probably Rob Schraub and a couple other guys like that. They got together and they were watching like Jaws 3. And before the movie, they all had made their own piece of art to depict what they thought the plot of Jaws 3 was, because none of them had seen it. And so they each had like their own fake version of Jaws 3 that they showed, and the next month they got together and they did the same thing for another movie. And eventually they made their own like movie trailers to what they thought what like Rocky 5 was going to be about or something like that. And in the end, like, it became way more fun to watch these videos that they were making, that they started renting out bars, and they would show these like fake movies that they had in the bars. And that eventually turned into like a format where you could submit a 5-minute pilot, and if it was good enough for this like panel of people, it would be shown at the Downtown Independent Theater in LA, and the audience there would vote. If they liked it or not, they would vote back the episodes that they would get to see episode 2 or 3 of and whatever.
Oh, that's how. I remember that.
So
that's
cool. That's where The Lonely Island got their start. That's where, like, Jack Black was an early contributor to it, and Tim and Eric, and Justin Roiland, obviously. Like, Rick and Morty started from there.
Yep.
But I love the idea. It's, like, so punk rock to have this thing where it's, like, every month these people are working at making this thing. And then you get to see it, and then, you know, if they have to do episode 2, then you get to see that story continue. And I just think that there's something fun about that format that I would love to do it, but it would take some money in order to do it.
Are you planning on? Are you wanting to do festival route with Pterodactyl?
I'm going to submit it to like Sundance and Slamdance and that kind of stuff. The deadline was yesterday, but it's being mixed right now. So once its full mix is done, we're going to submit it. And there's like a midnight screening at Sundance. I feel like it's I feel like it's perfect for the midnight screening at Sundance. It's like genre-defying pieces, and that certainly is what this is.
Irreverent.
Yeah, like the whole second half of Pterodactyl is will catch everybody by surprise.
Let me. I'm gonna be your PR management firm right now. Hold on.
Yes.
So you're not gonna be able. If you're excited to see Pterodactyl, you may not be able to see it for a while if you enjoyed the trailer. However, there is a backlog of movies just like Pterodactyl that you can check out, and I'm not even gonna say them all because I'm gonna forget one, and you can remind me which ones I forget. Started with Bear Force 1. We got Werewolf in a Girls Sorority. We've got, is it Secret Santa? What's the name of it? Is it
Secret Santa, yeah.
And is there a fourth, or is it just the 3?
This is the fourth. Secret Santa was done with Freddie Wong and Rocket Jump, and you should be able to find it somewhere. I mean,
find it somewhere.
If you go to andymogren.com, you'll be able to see that, and you may even be able to see Pterodactyl. I don't know. It might be up there.
It's great because they're littered with former YouTubers that you know and stuff, and they're good times.
So after I added all of these like news clips from like Fox News and like Sean Hannity into Pterodactyl, it's like such a funny thing to see, especially when juxtaposed against like this green screen animation silliness, right? So I am re-editing new pieces like that for Werewolf in a Girls Sorority and Bear Force 1 and Secret Santa.
Great.
And
You're George Lucas in your art.
Yeah, but that's all right because like I deleted the original Bear Force 1 because Rocket Jump wanted it up on their thing, and now I think it's like unlisted on their thing, and so it's like it's gotten millions of views or like 1 million views at least, but you can't ever tell.
You should make it republic on your channel. What the hell? Just do it.
I know it is public on my channel, but I had to re-upload it, so it's like 200,000 or something like that, which is still very impressive. But
your ability to find these news clips and apply them to your narrative is good in a creepy way.
It's insane.
It looks exhausting just seeing the accuracy that you have gone to.
So over the course of this thing, it's like this pterodactyl, it kills all these people in this really public way during Balloon Day, right? And how do we react to that? How does Fox News react to it? And like, I didn't want to be tacky and take it from like real like tragedies and do anything. Instead, I wanted to find ways where they were blowing outrage about like total bullshit, right? So like, there's an extended cut of Pterodactyl where it's got a lot more like Alex Jones and a lot of that cut, and like
the Alex
Judge
Jones
Jimmy
cut.
Yeah, it's just like I watched a lot of Fox News in order to see this thing, and it was interesting just to kind of get out of like the bubble and to see how they portray stuff, and it's very much like WrestleMania every day of the week over there.
It's like this week's RNC.
Yeah, that's I saw some of that stuff, and pretty smart,
inspired,
it's
inspired.
Pretty cool guys. I like these guys.
They're really
cool. Really cool. They're smart. They
very smart.
I'd wear that shirt. RNC. We're really cool.
Very cool guys.
Man, I would not be surprised if a Shredder came out at the end of this thing with the Foot Clan.
But you know what? The DNC, I can't say the DNC was something to be proud of. That was most uncomfortable. Like, I was like, these people, they're not real people. Yeah. Like, these aren't, I think we've imagined them to all be somewhat real people in our brains. And then seeing the DNC and the RNC, I'm like, these politicians they're robots.
They don't know how to talk.
There's nothing.
They don't know how to talk to humans. That's like the people that lead us don't know how to talk to us.
No, they're not real. Yeah, there's no one going like, hey, anyway, sorry.
You know how like Edgar Wright has his what is it? The Cornetto trilogy? Is that what he calls it? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Like with Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's called the Cornetto trilogy.
And Nick Frost or whatever.
Yep. This is kind of like the fourth installment of we got to come up with a name for it. Your Quadretto trilogy.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I like calling it a 4 thing of 3. Quadretto trilogy.
It's a 4. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A 4-part trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best looking one of any of the ones that I've done before. And Secret Santa, like, we rushed that through in a month, so it looks pretty rushed. But all of them, they all hold up pretty good. I mean,
here's the main question that I do want to ask you, and it's that Andy is a father of twins. They just turned 1, as he said earlier in the podcast, and I think me, Elliot, and the rest of the audience want to know, how long did it take you to tell the difference?
Right away, because one of them was born with like a bursted blood, blood vessel on his chest and on his cheek. That's Jack. And Oscar has a little bit of a vein right here, but right away we could tell the difference there. But yeah, that was a fear that we wouldn't know. And we'd get home and we just would get confused one day, and then all of a sudden they're switched for life.
Never.
Dude, I have a feeling that has happened to at least 50% of twins. Whether it happened at the hospital, like maybe a nurse accidentally whoopsie-doopsie.
No doubt about it.
Or it happens at home. Like it's had to have happened many a times.
Of course, yeah.
When my I just had I went through a lot of labor and had a nephew. I'm a first-time uncle.
You look great. You look great.
When he was,
by the way.
Thank you so much. It's a lot of whatever. I'm working.
It doesn't even look like you just became an uncle. Like I can't even imagine.
You look very.
It's amazing.
Handsome,
Thank you.
Very cute.
Yeah.
I was hoping you would think.
Whatever weight you gained, I think you
shirt?
lost even more.
Slimming.
What did you say? Weight gain? What do you mean?
Whatever weight you gained, it doesn't even look like it was ever there.
Those are beautiful purses behind you, by the way, as well.
Thank you so much. They're mine, and I chose all of them. That actually is pretty cool. I like that one. That one looks to me like something came out of a Who Framed Roger Rabbit animated purse, like a realist version of it. Anyway, my brother was getting a tour of the hospital, and they were like, "Don't worry, it's locked both on this side, and then there's another part that's locked." And my brother was like, "Oh, because people steal babies."
Yeah, that is no joke.
The guy standing behind him when the nurse said that was like, he just turns around and walks on. Shucks, and he leaves.
Why wouldn't it come all the way up here if I'd known they were gonna have locks on the doors?
A guy in that black and white striped shirt.
Oh, you just hear someone casually just go, shit, and then just leave. Shit.
Not today, Jerry.
Yep.
Jerry the baby.
Yeah, they probably get switched.
But, you were gonna make.
Do you see the?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say. No, we came up with the first name for it's baby A and baby B, and when we went in for the first ultrasound, they go, "How many people do you expect to have in there?" And it's like, "What?" Who says that? And
talk about giving the punchline away right away. It's like you don't ask that question unless there's more.
Twins don't run in our family or anything. It was definitely a shock. And we came up with the name while on a baby moon out in Santa Monica. We were walking alongside the ocean. We're like, Jack Mogren. Oh, it's just perfect, right?
Strong.
Name. And then
tough.
We had all of these other names picked out for baby B, and it's like the night of giving birth, and we're like, well, I don't know. Sherry wanted to name him Noah, and all I could think of was Noah Grossman at Smosh, and I was like,
and you're like, no way.
I was just
gross.
No, I was just like,
Noah. How about no?
I was like, I really like Noah, but it's just like he's already my son in many ways. And so then we were like, I guess maybe it's Oscar. I don't know. And then we went in. And she had to get a C-section for the second one. And so for that, the dad can't be in the room. So I got brought over to the next room holding Jack. And the doctor comes in and it's like, the baby's born and fine. It's Oscar, right? And they were like, yeah, I guess so. And that's how he got his name.
That's great. I can't wait to see how these kids grow up and how that is. I wonder if Oscar's always just going to feel a little I don't know. I kind of feel like they kind of made me up at the end.
No, well, he is a day and a half away from walking, so that's pretty cool. Because
Wow,
like,
man.
you know,
That is
during
very
the whole
cool.
quarantine, we've been spending so much time up here at the cabin. Like, they didn't know how to do stairs, or like they were barely crawling at the beginning of this thing. And now
What
they're
a bunch of
almost walking.
dummies.
Like,
Ugh.
yeah, totally.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I would figure it's like they're all worried the kids now are going to be a little dumber because of the court, like
And
staying
they
at
are,
home. But babies
yeah.
are probably just like excelling. Babies are going to catch up with the kids.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. That's the gap that's going to close. Every other gap's going to get real
Yep.
big, but then the babies are just
Yep.
going to like rule in 20 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be a baby boom
Good
for
babies.
sure. You think so?
I mean, that's the assumption with everybody stuck inside together, bored.
I guess
There's already been a divorce.
right.
boom.
There should have been there
right.
should have been the baby boom already, right? We're already 9 months into this
We're
thing,
probably
aren't we?
about 3 months away from it. We'd be 3 months away from like just babies everywhere.
Nightmare.
Yeah, nightmare time. Nightmare time.
Kill me.
Are you eating Lucky Charms? What have you been
Nightmare
doing the whole time?
I have not eaten, and it's salmon and rice.
Lucky
so.
Charms. That's what I call Lucky Charms.
Adult Lucky Charms. All natural Lucky Charms.
It's very good.
Sorry. It's just there, and it looks really good, yeah. And it's like, you know, salmon's hot. Anyway.
Cereal's great. Cereal is wonderful. Although I don't like the subliminal messages they put in cereal boxes. All the eyes are always looking down like this, you know, to look down at the kids that are looking up at them, and they're like, "My friend Tony the Tiger."
That's so funny. I know they're looking at the cereal, but I never thought of it like that. Like,
Oh,
never
look at my
thought that.
friend, the rabbit from the Twix box.
Dude, and that's why all the muesli box and all the healthy cereal, the mascots on that are just looking straight at me, flipping me off. Like, fuck you, you're going to eat me.
I mean,
and I'm
anytime
like, yeah, I'm
you
gonna
see
eat you.
Tony the Tiger, he's like looking down like this. He's looking down at our kids. He's looking down on our kids.
Bastards.
Wow.
Bastards. Bunch
No,
of bastards. Bastardos.
No, thank you. Not today.
Joe, we have not even talked about our other major collaboration of Epic How To.
Oh, that's right. That's the other thing that we worked on. Andy, when I was doing Epic How To, what did we do that for? 2 years? 3 years when I was at Defy?
It was
I
like
think for
like 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, Andy was the editor on that too, and a lot of that style came over to Love on the Internet.
Because I was doing Epic How To's like 7 days a week for 2.5 years or something, I became a much better animator. So I went from Werewolf in a Girls Sorority to like learning 3D animation for Epic How To now applying that to Pterodactyl.
I've addressed this before, but I get so many. It's very sweet. I get a lot of people on Instagram, on YouTube, at Twitter asking when's it coming back, because Defy forced us to say, hey, we're going on a break, it's coming back, when really they canceled it.
Oh man, I lost my shit when you had to say that. I remember that I like did a whole comment on it. I was very honest.
Yeah,
I was working from home. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? Fuck this place.
Yeah. So just another one of the dumb decisions that were made by some of the upper management there. But the show was good, and the reason I did say it, I don't think they were ever going to bring it back on YouTube or anything, but we did try to make a few pilots, and I know that there's still little pieces of possibility floating out there with the people that have the rights now. They still want to make it, so maybe that'll happen. If you want Epic How To, keep commenting on the Epic How To videos, because we might get to make something. But I did shoot a pilot for it, and that's when I shaved my head.
Yep.
It was great.
How much did they pay you to shave your head?
Probably not enough, but enough for me to go, I've always wanted to do it, I'm going to try it. Elliot, you look like something from The Matrix. I don't know what it is.
I didn't know if this would have any kind of an effect, but I thought I'd do it for attention. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it. No, that's it.
Thank
so
you.
Epic How To could be a thing. Andy and I, we probably field one email of possibility every 6 months where it's like, this could maybe happen,
It'd be
and we
fun.
get excited, and then it goes away. So
it's a great concept.
I love Epic How To. It's you take something that's kind of challenging, and like you are so charismatic as the host, and I feel like my animation stuff just brings it up also to like a equal level of fun, and it was just I did I think like 30 or like 40 episodes myself.
We did a lot of them. Yeah. They're fun, and the writers were great on it. Shout out to the writers, and Michael Rainey producing it. It was a small team, small but mighty. Small but mighty.
Small but mighty.
Small but epic.
Small but epic. Mighty how to.
Oh, I love that.
Mighty how to. All right. Well, we're nearing this this hour mark. Andy, what else are you going to work on? What do you want to do with your life? Got any advice?
Let's.
What are your big regrets?
Let's see. Big regrets. You know, it's just hard to have many things going on these days. There's nothing going on. What am I gonna do? Nothing. I nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The focus is on getting this movie into some festivals and kind of like rounding up the finishing line of that.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like Hollywood exists? Do you feel like anything? I feel like the whole industry just stopped.
Yeah.
Because it did.
Yep. Remember
But,
new
like,
movies? Remember that?
People are taking meetings. They're doing pitches. People are buying things. Like, things are happening. It's just like I don't even feel like any of it is, I guess, real.
No. I mean, you're probably submitting to a film festival that may not happen, depending.
Like, how shitty is this? I've been working on this thing for so long with like the dream of like we're gonna show it in theaters. You know, that's the goal, is to show it with a bunch of people, because there is nothing like watching your movie in a movie theater with like a whole crowd of people. Like, as Aaron Sorkin says, you could swear you could fly, and that's exactly how it feels. And it's like, you know, now Sundance like is gonna probably be online. And it's like, that's not going to be the same audience as YouTube. Like, do you just put it on YouTube, but then you lose eligibility in a lot of different film festivals if it's on YouTube? So
yeah, it has to be like an unseen piece of art, right?
Like, if I want to get into Sundance, it better be the world premiere of it or whatever, you know?
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be so fun. Park City's great.
I'm almost finished with my writing partner, and I've about finished the final draft of a script that I've been working on for a while. But she knows so much more about all the festival stuff, and I know nothing about it. So in my mind, I'm always like, just let everybody have it. Just give it to everybody. But yeah, I'm learning myself.
Well, there's also
not how it works.
a lot of screenplay competitions that you can look into that are.
There's gonna be a bunch
go
of those,
to filmfreeway.com. That's like the best place you can go for film festivals or screenplay competitions and stuff like that. I just feel like, you know, even though, like Sundance might not happen, or I heard it might happen in like 20 different cities or something weird. I'm not sure. But probably this is the one year where nobody went out there and made anything, you know? So I probably have the best chance to get into Sundance.
Yeah, if not this year, next
reminds
year.
me of it reminds me of the do you guys watch Last Chance U?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
It's crazy. It's it follows this, you know, kids that are trying to get into at least college football, and they work their entire lives. It's like the one pipeline that many of them can hope to get into to get a college education, and then all this stuff happens, and it's just like very sad. So anyway,
on that note, anyways, Andy, thank you for coming on. Thank you for letting us do the frickin' world premiere trailer of Pterodactyl Extinction USA.
Yes, I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually show it to people, because it has been a labor of love for a long, long time. But in the meantime,
Andy,
go to my YouTube channel and watch all the other stuff, because it's fun. And the whole time.
Is it?
Definitely.
Is it just /Andy Mogren, youtube.com/Andy Mogren?
Yep, and not Andy Morgan like Elliot, his brother. Andy.
Good. Yep. Good distinction. Andy, you bring a lot of joy to us, and indirectly, and sometimes directly, a lot of joy to our audience. So on behalf of them as well, thanks.
Thank you.
And us also.
Well, you guys make me happy. And you know what? I desperately...
That's our time, Andy. We're done. Cut it, Joe. We're good.
Shut it down. Now
shut it down. We're done.
And Andy's goes away, then ours, and then there's like a static, and then and then the Matrix.
Yep.
Full circle. Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
No, I'm sorry, Andy. Do you want to keep talking, Andy, or no? Okay, he's just drinking. Andy's
Patreon.com/thevalleyfolk. Everybody check it out if you want to help keep this train going. We'd really appreciate it. We'll be launching a lot of new merch there and
it's a Minnesota
new
beer,
shows and all of it.
certainly extra citra pale.